Grand Rising, beautiful people. What's up? Um, Someone requested a video, me explaining the difference between boiling the sea moss and blending the sea moss, right? And not boiling the sea moss, basically. Okay. First and foremost, I want everyone to know that I'm a Jamaican, right? I was born and raised in the islands in the Caribbean, right? And I was raised on sea moss. My grandmother, my mom, everybody, we drank sea moss all the time, right? We know what it looks like when it comes out of the water. We know what it looks like when it's dried, right? But traditionally, back home, um, we grew up seeing our grandparents and parents literally boiling the sea moss, right? And they boil it, and then they add, um, they had a thing called linseed. Then they add another thing called like Iceland gum or something like that, in it, and they boil it out, and then they blend it, and they let it get thick. They put it in the fridge, and then they let it get thick, right? And let it turn gel, and then they blend it. Then they make juice. They make it with juice. They use it. They make it. They put it in food. We put it in. They put it in all kind of stuff. And we grew up like that because back then there was no blenders and stuff like that. You understand? There wasn't no ninja bullet. I mean, there wasn't none of that. Like we back in our grandparents in the country. Wood fire. I know stove, and I mean, just certain things were not as prominent as it is now. They're not as modern as it is now. So they used the resources they had back then, right? And think about it. That's what they did. So that was their way of creating, consuming sea moss. And even now in Jamaica, they still boil the sea moss. Now, when I came to America, and the last couple of years, the last 5 years, 6 years, I've seen the sea moss craze, and everybody's, oh, if you boil the sea moss, it's not good. You have to blend it, and you get more nourishment, and you get the nutrients, and all of that stuff in it. And so I started seeing people blending. It's because when I started my sea moss, because I started boiling my sea moss, and then people were saying all kind of things, and I said, listen, I'll do both ways, but this is how I know. This is my way. So you have a choice. I have clients that like it boiled because they're Jamaicans, and then I have clients that take it the other way, blended and and stored and turned gel. So it depends on you, right? But here in the States, this is what they do, and because you have a blender, but think about how far sea moss is coming from, and how long we people have been consuming sea moss, that there was never electricity, there was no blender, there was no stuff like that. We boiled, we cleaned it, washed it, and boiled it, and then we blend it. Because at the end of the day, when you really think about it, when you boil the sea moss, right, you're not throwing that water away. Like how sometimes most people, when you soak the sea moss overnight, they throw that water away. When you boil the sea moss, that water is the sea moss is all of that. That's the sea moss. So you literally just cool it, right? And you soak, and you just put that in the refrigerator. And then you just eat it. You take it from there, and you blend it up with your smoothies and whatever you do. That's what they do in Jamaica, right? So here, they blend it, they soak it out, and then they blend it, and then they put it. But remember, in order for it to blend, a blender creates heat, right? So that heat that it's creating, spinning so fast and blending it up, it's literally adding heat to it. That is what's literally breaking it down more. So when you put it in the jar and you put it in the refrigerator, it's the same thing. Only thing, it's not on the stove, but the blender is still heat. It's still electricity. It's still heat. So it's just a misconception of cultures, put it that way, because a lot of people that are talking about sea moss has never ever seen sea moss raw from out of the ocean. They have never went to, I've never been to St. Lucia. So I don't know what an actual St. Lucia sea moss looks like coming out of the water. But I know what it looks like when it gets here to me when I buy it, in bulk. But I can tell you what Jamaica purple looks like when it comes out of the water. I can tell you what Jamaica gold looks like when it comes out of the water. I can tell you what Jamaica tricolor looks like when it comes out of the water, because that's where I'm from. Right? So I don't follow trends because everybody's doing it. No, I am a cultural person, so I work off of my culture. But in my business, if you're a client that wants it the traditional way and you're a Jamaican, I make it that way. And if you want it the way that they do it here in the States, I can make that also. Not a problem, but it's your choice. But don't say that if you boil the sea moss, it's bad, or if I don't know. It's up to you. You understand? So for me, my thing is this: that I grew up seeing them boiling the sea moss because we never had, there was no blenders and stuff like that. So, common sense would let you know that, hey, this has been going on for years. What you guys know is a lot of people just learned about sea moss 5 years ago. A lot of people just learned about sea moss 3 years ago, 10 years ago. I've been taking sea moss all my life. All my life. You understand? So I know about sea moss for years, for over 40 years. You understand me? Over 45 years. Just to put it in that perspective then. You understand me? I know sea moss. But then, I guess they say when you're in Rome, you have to do what the Romans do. So you're here, we're here and I'm running a business, and most people gravitate to the sea moss that's blended opposed to the ones that's boiled. So I do it both ways. So if that's the case, I'm going to make money both ways. You understand? But it's up to you. You choose. But don't say that because this person boils their sea moss that they're doing it wrong. Because at the end of the day, even Jamaica purple sea moss, you have to add heat to it. You have to add heat. It has to be on the stove for at least a little 10 minutes on low. And then you blend, and then you put in the refrigerator for it to turn gel. If not, you have nothing but, fine, like sea moss floating around, like it just look like seaweed. You understand me? You have to know how to prepare it. And you have to add heat. So it depends on you, how you like it, right? Because at the end of the day, if it's boiled, if you add heat to it and it's boiled on the stove, which you're not boiling it, but you're actually making it, simmer on on low heat, right? If you do that, then that sea moss water that the sea moss is blended in, is boiled in, that's the same actual sea moss. It's just boiled. It's just like in Jamaica when we cook food, right? And we have like boiled banana, yam, dumpling, cocoa, sweet potato, all of that. That water, that all that food is boiled in, we drink that water because that water is so potent because all of that food is boiled in there and the nourishment is in that water. We call that pot water. You understand what I'm saying? So those things we do consume. So if we boil the sea moss and we add it in the water and then you blend it or you put it in the fridge and it turns gel, it's the same sea moss. Compared to you blending it and put it in a jar and put it in the refrigerator, right? So it's your choice. It's your choice. But in the islands, that's how they do it in the islands, even now. Even now, they still, most people do it like that in the islands. Right? So it's your choice, people. So I don't knock nobody for what they're doing and how they do their stuff. As long as you know what you're getting, the product is quality, and you know what you're doing, and you know that, what you're offering, you're true to your word, you know what I mean? So for me, I'm a business person. So it doesn't matter what you want. I will provide however you like it. So it's your choice on how you want to prepare your sea moss, whether you want to boil it or whether you want to, blend it and put it in the fridge. It's up to you guys. You know what I mean? But for me, I do it both ways and I still get the same results. You understand? As long as I'm consuming sea moss on a daily basis, that's all that matters to me. You understand? But as long as you're getting the quality sea moss, that's number one also, right? So different islands, different Caribbean islands carry sources their own sea moss. So most people know about St. Lucia Gold, but there are other islands that sources their own sea moss as well, and they consider their sea moss to be the best as well. So it's up to you guys. It's whatever you're looking for. All right. So that's it for Vaga. That's my opinion on sea moss and whether boiled or not boiled. All right. So thank you for that request, and I hope you got your answer. All right. Thanks, guys. You have a wonderful day. Bye.